In a world where everyone and their brother has a podcast, one stands alone. It's been called one of the podcasts of all time. Welcome to Internet Killed the Video Store.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while since we've done like an all-satellite one. What was the last one? Nope.
Have we ever done all sat? Oh, yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yeah, I think that was back when you had monkeypox or something.
It wasn't technically like remote, right? Because you and I were at my parents' just in different...
Oh, that's right. Ben was gone, and you went up
Yeah.
to your bedroom, and I was in your basement.
Right. I guess it technically was still remote.
Yeah, it was all of our Zooms, but...
Yeah. I couldn't believe... I still remember how much lag there was between you and me.
Yeah.
You were like 30 feet from me.
We were talking the other day when we were waiting on Ben to show up for the movie about seeing AFI at Warped Tour. Is that like your big concert that got away moment, or do you have any other ones that you're like, man, I wish I would have got to go to that?
AFI at Warped Tour was the biggest for sure. I was thinking about this earlier. I could not come up with a better one than that, partially just because, I was 12, 13 at the time.
Like 2003, maybe?
It was 2003, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Summer 2003. Yeah, so I would have been 13. And that kind of stuff is rough when you're that age. I mean, everything's kind of rough and emotional when you're that age.
Yeah.
So
It's the end of the world.
exactly. Yeah, I'm still scarred from that. I'll never forgive my mom for not letting me go. More recently, when did Converge play Fort Wayne? Do you remember that?
I didn't know they ever did.
Or did they not? And I'm making that up.
Maybe
they just came close, but I missed them. Like, I had an opportunity to see Converge, and it was, I think, the record after Axe to Fall, which I really enjoyed. I mean, I enjoy all Converge, honestly, and I think they play a pretty good variety of stuff at their shows, but it just would have been a great time to see them. I know I would have heard some songs I really liked.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, you remember this. We tried to see Caveller Talk in Fort Wayne.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
You were the only one that succeeded because my brother and I don't know what happened, but we showed up late.
Yeah.
And we still saw Gojira and Mastodon, but we were really just there for the opener, Caveller Talk.
Yeah.
And they've got a new singer now playing stuff that I just don't enjoy as much. Yeah, it definitely is. So, yeah, that's kind of past the point where I'd want to. And I think we were talking about this because of Riot Fest, and I might go to that. I might see AFI, but
yeah,
it's not going to be like seeing them at 2003 Warped Tour.
Right. No, that's why I'm always like, yeah, I'd really like to see Green Day or Blink-182, but this incarnation is so far from the Blink or Green Day. I wanted to see that it's like,
right.
Would it even be worth it?
Maybe Green Day. I feel like they could pull it together, but Blink, man, I don't even want to hear them play their old stuff because I feel like they're just going to ruin that for me.
Yeah, I told you when I saw AFI, it was like walking past their stage at a 2006 Warped Tour, I think. And by that point, I was too punk for AFI. I wasn't going to stop. They had the big crowd and everybody was singing Miss Murder. And I was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
And
they were getting into their techno emo phase.
Had a similar experience that same year with Angels and Airwaves. And I walked past that and heard Tom DeLonge trying to do his Bono impression. And I was like, oh God, this is horrible. So I can't imagine that's aged any better in the last 16 years.
Why did he try to do a Bono impression?
I don't know. That's all Angels and Airwaves ever sound like to me. It was just a ton of delay guitar and shitty, spacey.
Oh, you little bastard.
Somebody say bastard? What was that?
I don't know what that was. That was weird.
Are you on your phone? This is why we need your video, because we don't know what you're doing.
You can't. Because you can't trust me?
No, I don't trust you. Fucking Christopher Nolan's your favorite director, and how much of Oppenheimer were your eyes on your phone? That was so constant.
Dude, it was a lot, but to be fair, I had some shit going on with work that I had to like keep updating on. I had to get the closing disclosure out that day for the close Friday.
Do you have the screen time app where it like tracks how much you're on your phone?
I think it just is automatically on your iPhone, isn't it?
Are you willing to disclose? I'll show you mine if you show me
Yeah,
yours.
I'll figure it out. Unless it's really high, then I won't tell you.
No, come on. We have to trust you again. You don't have your screen.
Dude, I'm on my phone a lot for work, man.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
It has to, because it's true.
What was that?
He's watching YouTube videos or something.
I'm trying to find how to look up my screen time.
Found it.
I think I got mine. I don't know if
What's yours, Ryan?
I don't know if it has an average. As I'm flipping through, the highest day is 2.5 hours. The lowest day is 40, not hours, 40 minutes.
Mine hasn't been turned on. I'll turn it on
That's
now.
convenient.
Updated today at 9:35. 0 minutes.
Wow.
Not as bad as you thought, huh?
Nope, that's really
No,
good.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
Doesn't sound like you're doing much work though. That's
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, when we were at Oppenheimer, I was trying to remember if I'd seen Ben on his phone at a movie before. And it caught me off guard. I was like, oh, I guess I have a friend that looks at his phone while we're at the movies.
Dude, I literally could not do it. At that particular moment, I
was stunned.
So you hated the movie? You're bored?
No, dude, I just couldn't not like deal with the shit that I was getting emailed and texted on.
No, that was actually the best part for me is that you were the first person to be like, that was good when we got done.
I was like, oh, good. He liked it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, man, I thought you were bored.
I still watched 95% of the movie.
And you liked it.
I did like it, yeah. Except I went to the bathroom at a pretty important part.
Yeah, you didn't believe me. You came back and were like, what happened? I'm like, oh, they nuked him. It's like, seriously?
Yeah, 3 hours to choose from. I didn't even wash my hands. I tried to get back in so fast, and I missed them fucking dropping the bomb.
It was pretty anticlimactic though. Like,
it
was intentionally not focused on in the movie.
Right. That was not the climax of the movie.
Do you think they didn't want that to be the climax on purpose?
Yeah, I think they didn't want to make spectacle out of that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it also highlighted how much they basically used Oppenheimer. Like, he spent all this time making this thing. It's taken out of this little town, and then he's just like, oh shit, I guess they dropped the bomb.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even know it until he hears it on the radio.
Right, waiting to get a call, but then just hears it over the radio like everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, dude wanted to be kept in the loop. He's talking to Matt Damon, right?
Right.
And
yeah.
He's like, as I see fit, basically. But you could tell they just wanted to like use him, throw him away.
That shift in their relationship kind of saddened me.
Yeah.
Because Matt Damon had been pretty cool to Oppenheimer up until that point.
Yeah.
But then I feel like he kind of was at the end as well.
Yep.
There was just like a period there where you really saw like the military side of him, I guess.
For some reason, when I keep thinking of this movie, I keep thinking I was watching Cumberbatch the whole time instead of Cillian Murphy.
Oh.
And I think it's just because of The Imitation Game. If you've ever seen that movie.
Yeah. Similar vibes. Yeah, I get that. I did realize, like, I gave you shit about calling him Sicilian Murphy, and I was like, no, stupid,
It's
his name's
Cillian.
Cillian. It's Killian. I don't know
It
his
is
name
Cillian.
either.
But I said Cillian right there, even though I knew it was Killian, because you've corrected me so many times before. I thought you were just going to give me shit for saying Killian, so I said
Nope.
Cillian on
I'm
fucking
wrong,
purpose.
too.
So what'd you think of it, Ryan?
I liked it. We had like a little off-air conversation with Gray after we talked about The Flash, and he was kind of trepidatious, like, I don't know, I feel like this might be like a propaganda patriotism movie, and I was like, I don't know, I'm hoping it's going to be more like There Will Be Blood, kind of dealing with the guilt of pushing yourself to this huge thing, and that's kind of what I got.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it as well. It's funny because I feel like Nolan is typically pretty politically ambiguous in his films. I don't see Dunkirk as like an extremely political film, but I don't know.
It's kind of just perseverance. Like, it doesn't even really tackle the politics, in my opinion.
Yeah. But there's no real like big statement about war in Dunkirk, though, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? Whereas in Oppenheimer, I feel like there's pretty clear statements on, I mean, it is such a dark ending.
Yeah.
And the ending, I think, kind of says what the main thesis of the film is. It's definitely the darkest Nolan movie in general, and the ending is also the darkest thing I've seen him do, and I thought it was appropriate given the material.
Yeah.
And like the whole shift in the film, whereas like a lot of people might have wrapped it up shortly after the Trinity test.
Yeah.
It's interesting how much it feels like it kind of should there almost in a way. And I did kind of have trouble with the transition into the last hour of the film.
Me too.
But I also feel like that stuff is so essential to what it's trying to say.
Yeah.
That I don't think that last hour was perfect, but I also liked the movie quite a bit. I mean, it's definitely one of the best movies I've seen this year. I was worried about seeing Nolan do something like this, but now I'm kind of glad that he's stretching out a bit more.
I think Cillian Murphy at this point has been in just as many Nolan movies as Michael Caine.
Yeah. Is he the new minutes
Begins,
leader?
Dark Knight Rises, Inception, Dunkirk. He wasn't in Interstellar.
Yeah.
Now he's the lead in this. Just a lot of shit, that's all.
I feel like my opinion on that's kind of changed. Like when I was younger, I thought it was cool when like Tarantino or Nolan would reuse the same people. But now, like especially with Tarantino, he's like, I'm only making 10 movies. I'm like, oh man, I wish you would have worked with more actors instead of having Christoph Waltz play the same guy twice in a row.
He's so good at being that guy, though.
He is, but I just think about all the people. I'm like, man, I wish I could have got to see like him work with, a wider variety of people.
Yeah.
It was mostly new people in this movie. Obviously, he gave the lead to his boy, but can't really fault him for it.
No, it fit.
He did such a good job.
He does such a good job at like just looking like he's in distress.
And he's on frame all the time.
Yeah.
It's always him in the scene.
Yep.
And he kind of plays two different characters. Like he plays the color version and then the black and white version, which is like, I think supposed to be more from Straw's perspective.
Yeah.
Like my takeaway was the stuff in color is Oppenheimer's perspective on how things went down.
Yeah.
Did you guys think that they correctly built his character? In the very beginning, they're talking about how Oppenheimer is like a ladies' man, like wants attention, and I didn't get that in the first hour. And they were talking about all that.
I think some of the characterization is a little sloppy. Like they were at times, I think, pretty heavy-handed with the womanizing stuff, and then it would like totally fade into the background, which may be a good call because like it gets annoying to see the biopics where characters are just like playing out those same traits over and over again. Like the Ray Charles movie comes to mind, but some of that stuff didn't work for me very well as far as like trying to show you who he was as a character or what his beliefs were.
Gotcha.
So that didn't always work.
I'm surprised you guys didn't like after that, like I guess after the test, that speech that he gave to like the whole little community. That was like my favorite scene in the movie where
sick.
he's kind of like processing everything that happened as he's getting all this giant applause. I just thought that was really well done. I really liked that sequence.
I
thought
really liked that one too. Yeah.
I think it's just the transition of a whole separate storyline. I felt like you're watching like a sequel. I don't know.
Well, the focus shifted entirely from like from them building the bomb and then him dealing with the remorse of that and the realization of how fucked up it is to like, the communism stuff really comes to the front, like the whole kangaroo court thing. You just know where that's going. And it's an hour of that. Like it's a lot of that. And that's the stuff. It's not that I didn't like it and I still feel like it's essential to the film, but like Ben said, it was a difficult transition. But no, the scene you're talking about, like, I really liked most of the surrealism that was happening. Anytime they were doing that kind of stuff and the wall would start to shake behind him or something, that stuff was cool. I honestly could have probably used a little more of that.
Yeah.
The sound design also added to that. The sound design was crazy good. And just the editing and everything really contributed to all of that. I would say the sex hallucination that Emily Blunt has in the courtroom felt a bit weird, especially because that's the only time that we're seeing anything from that character's perspective.
I thought it was cool.
I don't know, man. I think it pissed me off a little bit because like I don't feel like the Emily Blunt character, that was some of the worst stuff. I could go into the whole complaining about how Nolan portrays women. I mean, I guess to touch on that a little bit, I would just say like it almost feels cartoonish at this point. Like the two prominent female characters just have the dumbest stuff to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's like some of the few things that I didn't really like about it overall.
I like the creative choice of it. Like at first when it was going on, I was like, okay, this is a little gratuitous, but I think the more I thought about it and just like the symbolism of him just being like picked apart and completely vulnerable and having his whole life under a microscope and these hearings that aren't even really hearings, I don't know. I thought that was an interesting approach to it and a different kind of way to break up some of those scenes. But I agree with you on Emily Blunt's character as a whole, though. That felt a little, I don't know. She didn't have a lot to do other than be like ultra emotional, and
it didn't make sense. They try to make her an alcoholic. You almost think at the beginning she's going to be abusive. She's like freaking out that the kid's crying, like drunk in the day, and you're like, okay, where's this going to go? And it fucking goes nowhere, really.
Right.
Like, was that not weird?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, and the alcoholic wife thing is straight out of like Walk Hard or like that's the parody, right?
Yeah.
It just felt like and I guess you can only complain so much about that stuff because maybe that is historically accurate. It just seems like you could have maybe like focused on different aspects. I liked seeing her ride the horse. Like those scenes were cool. The scenes where she's really like trying to support him and stuff, I didn't feel like we knew enough about that character or the relationship to really understand why she would do that. Yeah. And then Florence Pugh, like I think the hallucination bothered me because it just really felt like she was just in the movie to be naked, which I think is so weird, especially for a Nolan movie.
Yeah.
Because
that's the only thing that made it rated R. They didn't even cuss a lot in this movie.
There's a couple fucks. You can only get like 2, right? And then you get from PG-13 to R.
I think
it's something like that, yeah.
There were more titties than F-bombs. I'll tell you that.
More like Oppenheimer, right? Been sitting on that one for a while.
There were more books than I care to see in my sex scenes. I'll say that. I mean, come on, dude. Who other than Christopher Nolan has read a book while they're having sex?
Oppenheimer. That's why he relates.
Again, I feel like I just tend to go into all of my negative criticisms for some reason. But
you still liked it.
I loved it. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Killian was great. Downey was really good. So fun to see him. I mean, Ryan, you mentioned Nolan going to his regular players, but yeah, I think some of the newcomers were just really fun to watch in this.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I feel like you could fill out like a whole best supporting actor like nominee field with just this movie.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite was it Downey Jr. for you?
It was cool seeing him act again.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He's not just an action figure. That's cool.
Right.
Einstein.
Dude. Oh gosh.
You thought Einstein was CGI, right?
I because it looks so much like the original. I thought it was for sure CGI.
He did a good job.
He allegedly didn't use any CGI making this movie.
That's
I don't doubt it. He could have done CGI in some of the Batman shit, and they did like miniature replicas. They had stuntman that fell off skyscrapers from helicopters with a bungee rope. Like, yeah, he doesn't take shortcuts. It's pretty cool.
And it looks good.
You think that was a real bomb then they did?
I don't know how you get that. Yeah, I don't know if they must have done some kind of filming experiment. I don't know.
Yeah. Favorite, I don't know if I said a favorite, but Damon was great.
Yeah, like, he was really good.
Yeah. He's just a good movie star. You know? You like seeing Matt Damon. He can just do his thing. Very charismatic. But maybe like not the best performance, but I feel like I want to give an award to Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
At first, I was distracted a little bit that it was Josh Hartnett. I haven't seen him in so long. A lot of the stuff I saw him in is like a bit more lowbrow or like goofy and stuff. But then at a certain point, like he's just killing it in these scenes alongside Cillian Murphy, you know, and it's like, oh man, yeah, I forgot that it was Josh Hartnett at this point. He's doing great.
Who was that?
The professor that kept telling him, quit with your communism stuff.
Oh, yeah. Ryan told me that fucking Gary Oldman was in this shit, and I did not believe him.
Yeah, man.
I did not know that was him.
He's the president.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Get this Kwai baby out of here.
Yeah.
That was also a weird scene for me. I get what I was trying to do, but he went from like talking about stuff to just being like, I don't even care about you anymore in the matter of like seconds. And that didn't feel natural to me.
I liked that because I feel like,
I liked it.
Again, it kind of like epitomizes him just being used. And they're like, oh, you don't want to make more bombs for us? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha. It's hard for me to believe any real person would do that, but I guess that there are people that do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
dude.
sure. So I have this theory that all Nolan's movies are some way about making movies. And I
Yeah.
feel like there was a lot of stuff in this that was like him narrating his divorce with Warner Brothers and like Warner Brothers thinking they made him and him being like, no, I was responsible for all this shit. I made it.
I think it's more than that. I mean, I think it's just directed even maybe at who he works for now.
Right,
where
yeah.
He just feels the anxiety of like, no, I'm always just going to be beholden to whoever actually lets me do this, you know? I'm
Yeah.
never going to be free as an artist.
Right. Yeah.
Damn.
As glad as I was to see Barbie do well, because I really enjoyed that movie, it kind of sucked to see Warner Brothers get the win for the weekend. And since they were like pretty intentionally going up against him, releasing their big summer tentpole movie the same weekend.
Right.
Do you think that was intentional?
Oh, yeah. I think it was a pretty public breakup, and like they kind of just were ready to ditch him the more he spread his opinions about what they were doing, kind of like the government was ready to roll up on Oppenheimer the more he spread his opinions on what they were doing.
Damn,
It's
man.
a good analogy.
Never thought about it like that.
Yeah. I really like the kind of meta aspects of it.
I really liked Jason Clarke. I think he'd be my supporting actor MVP. I haven't seen him in a while. I felt like he was a dude on the come up, and then he got some real bad movies like Terminator Genesis and Everest under his belt. But it was nice to see him back. Like Nolan brought back a lot of people that you haven't seen in a while. Casey Affleck resurfaced, fucking Josh Peck.
I knew it was Casey when I heard his voice, dude.
Yeah. Very identifiable.
I looked at
voice.
Ryan. I was like, is that Casey Affleck? He's like, I don't know. And I was
It's like,
like,
get
yeah,
off your phone and look.
His face didn't show yet.
I know.
Ben was Googling, is Casey Affleck in Oppenheimer? Going back to Einstein, though, I feel like when Einstein shows up in a movie, it just has this certain feeling to it. Like, I almost felt like, you know how they didn't show Michael Jordan in Air?
Dude, that was
Yeah.
my comparison. That's what I was going to
Yeah.
fucking say. I felt the same way about it. He's too big to, like, make the story around or show too much
Distracting.
of.
Yeah, it was like, oh, don't fuck this up. But yeah, he was pretty great. I
Yeah.
liked him. And yeah,
He's
yeah.
no Paul Giamatti, but
Did Paul Giamatti play him?
he played Einstein in that Verizon commercial, remember?
No, I don't remember that.
It's probably his best role.
No, I don't know who this guy was that played Einstein, but
Yeah.
they handled it pretty well. I thought it was cool, and I was excited anytime he showed up. So Einstein's just a cool figure.
Yeah. I remember about a year ago, there was this thing that came out that said, first sneak peek at Albert Einstein and Oppenheimer. And it showed fucking the old dude from the focus group sketch of I Think You Should Leave.
Ruben, yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah.
That would have been tight.
Oh man, someday. Yeah.
So did you ever make it through Twin Peaks: The Return or whatever it's
No,
called?
I still
No?
haven't. Yeah, I started the first episode, and I guess I just really wasn't in the mood for it. I still remember it's just like these two old guys.
Yeah.
I didn't even make it past that. It really just must have not been the right time.
The biggest takeaway from that show, I thought, was like they did a whole episode like on Hiroshima, and like
Okay.
I feel like between Nolan and Lynch and then like Hideo Kojima with Metal Gear Solid, like there's more and more people circling back to like the atomic bomb being like the start of the downhill of like mankind.
Sure.
So I thought it was cool that Nolan like picked that up and kind of not as aggressively as Lynch or Kojima because those dudes are pretty outspoken, but
Absolutely. Well, and we've still got Godzilla movies, you know.
right, yeah.
I guess, yeah, between that and stuff like Akira, you know, Japanese culture has obviously always had it on the mind, but it is good to see more people talking about that and having reminders of that, I think.
Right, because yeah, like we were saying, we were talking with Gray, like it's a pretty horrific event to be like
Yeah.
revisiting, and like we kind of treat Pearl Harbor like it's the greatest tragedy to ever happen to us, but like I don't think we dropped those bombs if we didn't get attacked at Pearl Harbor by the Japanese.
It was interesting in this movie how much they drove home the point of like,
The war's over.
the war's over. What are we doing here? Yeah, that was interesting. That made me kind of want to, you know, dig into the history a little bit because
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily aware of how everything transpired at that point.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of especially like the McCarthyism like witch hunt that Oppenheimer underwent himself.
Yeah, I think I did know about that, but no, obviously, very interesting figure. And now I definitely understand why Nolan not only sees a lot of himself in Oppenheimer, but wanted to make a movie about him.
I thought Einstein made the bomb before I watched this movie.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Hmm.
for some reason. I thought that like we got him from Germany to help us make the bomb.
No.
Yeah, not even close to being true.
Yeah.
He wanted nothing to do with that bomb in the movie.
Yeah.
Because he's the best.
Well, I like having it too, because like usually when you have somebody making this historic like accomplishment, they're just like confident the whole way and like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, we're gonna achieve it. And to have like Einstein just like, nah, dude, you're fucking up. You shouldn't be doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It just kind of undercuts the whole enthusiasm or like confidence you'd normally see.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you guys at all feel like the tension of the movie was undercut, or at least the climax was undercut by knowing that the test was going to be fine?
Yeah.
Because I was really enjoying it, and then that thought just crept into my brain,
Yeah.
and then I was kind of just like, all right, that was cool. Maybe that's why I also kind of had trouble going into the third act, because I was like, oh, that was the big thing.
Right. I honestly didn't know how many tests it was going to take, so I didn't know like if they were going to have to start over. So it didn't weigh in on me as much, but that's just due to my ignorance.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I guess if it failed, I was thinking more like, because they were all worried about dying
They were going to end the world.
And I was like-
right.
and all that stuff. I was like, I know that none of that happens.
Yeah, right.
I know that none of these guys, I know they're not going to blow up the world. I know none of these guys are going to die during this test.
That is a cool
So-
concept, though. I did appreciate that
What?
about how the particle, the atmosphere would just have a chain reaction. It's
Yeah.
a very neat idea. And if it
No,
would have,
I never knew that was something they were
Yeah.
actually worried about happening. That's terrifying. I mean, the whole
Right.
thing is terrifying. But
Yeah.
if it was believable, it would have been even better. But like you said, we know we're still here, so it didn't happen.
yeah.
So last week we talked a little bit about the Foo Fighters record and how I hyped it up too much. But I feel like on an overall level, like it feels like everybody talks way too hyperbolic about stuff. Like everything's the best or the
Yeah.
worst just to get people's attention. And I heard so many people saying, this is the best Nolan movie yet. It's the best thing he's ever done. Like
What the
I think
fuck?
all three of us liked it, but it wasn't his best, I don't think.
No.
It's definitely not my favorite. I think it's a pretty impressive feat to make this movie.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's one of his more challenging movies. Gosh, I don't know. It's definitely one of the best looking for me, which is funny because it's just dudes in suits.
Yeah.
But I know you love suits. But yeah, it's not my favorite. That's all I can really say. And yeah, I think I wouldn't say that I looked at it and or came out of it being like, this is the greatest thing, like hands down the greatest thing Nolan's ever done. He's done so much good stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Best biopic he's ever done.
Right. It's the best sex scene he's ever filmed. But yeah, I feel like there's been a few instances where like these big sweeping statements, and like I'm guilty of it. We just talked about it, but like
yeah, we all do it too. But
people talked about Mission Impossible as the best action movie of the year, or like The Flash is one of the best superhero movies. I'm like, no, none of that's true.
Yeah, we all need to chill out a bit.
Right. Or like every band when they put out a new record, this is our best one. Like, has anybody put out a record and been like, we didn't really do as good as last time, but if you could support us, that'd be cool.
We're just in, this era of like clickbait and headlines where you just don't have time to really say something interesting about your movie or your album or whatever.
Right.
So everything just becomes, all right, top 5, top 10.
Yeah. We don't have time for nuance. You're either the best or the worst, or like you're too boring to care about.
Yeah.
Art is just a sport now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's why we started this, right? So we can just rate everybody's artistic abilities and just cut it down to a number. Rotten Tomatoes, baby.
That's what I'm about. Let's go.
You also talked about doing a double feature. Have you ever actually done that? Like bought a ticket and gone to 2 movies at a theater?
I don't think so.
No.
No, I mean, we would do it like at sleepovers and stuff,
Right, yeah.
Like
it's a lot
pick out-
different. Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't imagine spending like 6 hours watching the full Barbenheimer. Like,
Oh,
Was Barbie 3 hours?
no, but I mean, you got 3 hours of Oppenheimer, 2 hours of Barbie, and an hour of Nicole Kidman AMC commercials in
Yeah.
between.
I would have went to the AMC bar in between and got extremely buzzed.
yeah, but
It was
could
closed.
have been like 2-hour layover.
Oh,
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that
dang.
fucking Exorcist commercial looked terrible, right?
It was funny.
I thought it was scary. I was scared.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it looked so bad.
You thought it looked bad? I don't know. It kind
Yeah.
of freaked me out, but I get freaked out pretty easily on that shit.
I feel like that's the other thing. If you're not proclaiming that you're the best, these studios keep like trickling out like, okay, I know you guys are nervous about this Halloween trilogy, but we're going to give the director The Exorcist next, so we really believe in him. And then I watched this Exorcist trailer, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if you would have
That was
gave
The
him this.
Exorcist?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But yeah, they also announced like the sequel to that reboot is coming out in like 2025. So like, how do you even know that without
Yeah.
with the strikes going on? Like,
Ugh.
are you again just trying to like boost confidence? Like, yeah, we know this movie's that good. We're gonna do another one in 2025. Please go
Just,
see it.
Uh-huh.
Acting like nothing is going on.
You have to see it. Please see it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you saw Barbie today.
I did.
What did you think of that one?
I really liked it. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while
It's-
since like I've seen 2 movies where it doesn't feel like anything's held back. Like
Mhm.
you can tell both directors just threw everything they had at it. There's nothing held back for like a sequel or a spin-off. There's no
Right.
world building. It's just everything punched into one movie, and it's fucking
Yeah.
a relief.
Yeah. The other thing that sucks for Nolan is that, Barbie's making more and it's also just a great movie.
Yeah.
Like I don't know which one I like better. As far as like just good watch, enjoyment and everything, like Barbie is so fun.
Yeah.
And I can't necessarily say that I think it's a less important film, like
Right. Oh yeah.
from a political perspective, like it definitely does its job there and still manages to be, the funniest thing I've seen in a while, for sure.
Yeah.
Like it got quite a few laughs out of me. I was by myself at the theater, and the regular Barbie crowd is there, and everyone was just having a good time. It was a good theater experience.
I heard a lot of people saying between this and No Hard Feelings, that Jennifer Lawrence movie that came out a couple months ago,
Mhm.
that there were like people on TikTok, like younger people, obviously, who had never been to like a comedy in theaters. And we're just like, this is so fun to just laugh in a group of people. I've never done this before.
Yeah,
and it's
that's so cool.
Bizarre to think that, yeah, like we've kind of been in a comedy desert for a while.
For a while. Yeah.
The Barbie thing, though, at first, I didn't think I was going to like it. Like when they did the whole fish out of water, like it almost felt like Elf, where like she lived in this fantasy land and she had to go to the real world. And ironically enough, Will Ferrell shows up. Like
right.
his role was probably my least favorite thing of the movie, just because he felt like a stereotypical like kids movie villain who's just there to be a bumbling doofus.
Just doing the Lego movie thing again.
Yeah, but other than that, like when America Ferrera showed up, it was like, okay, this is fucking great. I think like it goes from like a B- to an A- for me if they just do the whole movie from her and her daughter's perspective and just treat Barbie and Ken as like supporting characters.
Interesting. So was it just too much of the Barbie stuff for you?
Yeah, and that may just be like oversaturation of all the marketing shit that's been going on, because I feel like I've seen the first 20 minutes of the movie in the trailer.
That makes a difference, man.
Yeah.
Like I largely avoid that stuff.
Yeah, I try, but man.
I always like this keeps happening. Like I can think of multiple times where your enjoyment is less than mine because you've seen something, like just with Mission Impossible. Like I didn't remember the motorcycle jump very well, and I mean some of that stuff is kind of hard to avoid. Like you're saying, I mean you watch like sport events and stuff,
right?
You watch stuff with commercials whereas I don't, and so I'm just spoiled by like just not seeing much of that stuff at all until I go to the theater and sit down and then see trailers for everything. But
forced against your will.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Unless I used to for the new Star Wars movies, I would plug my ears and close my eyes and get laughed at by all my friends. But those days are gone.
No, my ironic enthusiasm for Haunted Mansion has just been beaten to death by the fucking State Farm commercials. They've just been nonstop.
Yeah. Good for Jake. You
right?
know?
Good for Rosario Dawson. But damn, it's too much.
Yeah, that stuff sucks. That ruins things. So I'd seen a little bit of Ryan Gosling's like main song that he sings, and I was kind of pissed that I had seen that because that is such a good part of the movie. It's like, why would you? There must be such a battle between creators and marketing people,
right?
And people cutting the trailer together because they got to do their job too. I get it. It's like, dude, I have to sell this movie. I can't just like hide all the good stuff, you know?
Right. Well, and I feel like that is a big detractor for comedies because a lot of the big like laugh out loud moments for No Hard Feelings are in the trailer, but it's also like, how do we sell this like shock value comedy with Jennifer Lawrence just like based on this really toned down, subdued trailer? So I don't know.
Like people like us will go see a movie because we read about it and it's like, oh, Greta Gerwig is directing this and Ryan Gosling is playing Ken, and like the stuff that it sounds like they're doing with this movie is great. Same thing with Oppenheimer. All I need to see is that Christopher Nolan made a movie and I'm going to go see it.
Right.
But yeah, you got to draw people in, and most people need a good trailer, you know, and like a funny trailer in a comedy's situation to get them to the theater or to get them to watch it at all. So that's, it stinks. Yeah. Can't win there.
Yeah, I've kind of been stuck. I think right now my opinion is Oppenheimer's probably the better movie, but Barbie's maybe the more entertaining one.
I can see that.
Like I'll probably revisit that one more often, but
for sure. I would say I could like nitpick Barbie a bit easier.
Yeah.
Like, there's just little things that don't work, you know?
Right.
And part of that is the comedy thing too. Like it's hard to make a comedy where like anyone is going to think every joke lands.
Yeah.
But I was kind of surprised how many of them like flopped pretty hard.
Yeah.
With the audience I was with.
Yeah.
People were mostly laughing, but yeah, there was some stuff that that just didn't work, and I can definitely see where you're coming from.
I think part of what kept me so engaged with it was honestly just seeing how much they were gonna let them get away with doing. Like, so
Yeah.
I don't know how well that holds up on repeat viewings either. Like when you're just like, oh shit, they're gonna have, gynecologist jokes and like all this different stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of, it is kind of shock value just to see like, okay,
A little bit.
Mattel's okay with like fully trying to regain, I don't know, like credibility with their audience basically after Barbie's kind of been tore apart in the cultural zeitgeist, and they don't shy
Yeah.
away from that at all in the movie. It was,
Yeah.
it was really well done. Like I can't think of anything else you could do with a Barbie movie to the point of like, I don't want them to make a sequel. Like they're gonna learn all the wrong lessons from this. Like the Mattel CEO's already come out and said he wants to make a fucking Magic 8-Ball movie, and Daniel Kaluuya's producing a Barney movie for adults, and I'm just like, God, stop.
Hey, what was better, Mario or Barbie?
Oh, Barbie, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Barbie like had content to it. Mario's just
Yeah.
like an empty snack.
Yeah.
Could Mario have had any sort of substance to it, though?
If they tried to do that, but they didn't seem to want to at all,
Yeah.
which is kind of a Nintendo thing.
Did
to
you
be
not like it,
honest.
Max?
No.
Really?
It's fine. Like it was kind of fun to watch, and like the animation is pretty fantastic, to be
Okay.
honest. And Jack Black as Bowser
Ooh.
is a lot of fun.
Forgot about that.
And there's some like actual platforming scenes in it which are fun, and like the music, I think Ryan, you had told me how dog shit it was, or maybe it was Gray that was like,
Yeah.
they don't even play any of the original stuff. And
They got some Easter eggs in there.
there were a few, and there was like a cool medley at the end, and Bowser playing one of the songs on the piano, and there was just more than what I had been expecting.
Yeah.
And so I think I was kind of like set up for success there.
Right. Again, your
But-
expectations are set going in.
Yeah, but I'll definitely never watch that again. And like
Yeah.
I definitely will watch Barbie again at some point, and I hope it holds up. So
Well, and I think like the other thing to keep in mind is just the target audience. Like I don't think a kid's going to like
Yeah.
Barbie at all. Like making in-sync references and
the kids weren't really feeling it in the theater
Yeah.
that I was in. But yeah, I know kids are going nuts for Mario.
Right.
So, and you got a lot of Peach in that movie, so it's cool for the girls and the boys, so that's cool. But I mean, this movie definitely has a lot of Ken in it,
yeah.
which I mean, gosh, this might be my new favorite Gosling performance. He just like stole it for me.
He was great.
I mean, he gets to be really funny.
Yeah.
And Margot Robbie, I was surprised how much like serious stuff she has to do,
Yeah.
but I was delighted by that, because I was just kind of expecting another heightened performance like Harley Quinn, but
Yeah.
barbified or whatever.
Right.
But she gets to do some serious acting in this movie.
Yeah.
And God, man, she is so good.
I mean, she has like a full-on existential crisis in the middle of this Barbie movie. But
Yeah.
speaking of like Gosling's catalog, Margot Robbie's getting pretty deep herself with all her stuff going on.
For sure.
We kind of talked about how all the movie stars are in their 80s. Like we've got Tom Cruise and Harrison Ford. I think Margot Robbie might be like the only new movie star we've produced in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Unless you count Pratt, but it seems like he's been relegated to voice work because everybody's so annoyed with him. But yeah, it is kind of weird. I didn't realize it until I saw somebody else point it out, but we've got like a lot of product placement movies this year with the Blackberry movie and Barbie and Flamin' Hot
Oh,
Cheetos.
gosh. It's the year of, yeah.
You mentioned Michael
No
Jordan.
one knowing what the fuck they're doing.
Right,
Yeah, it's just commercialism.
right.
Just on screen. Just why even bother with the middleman? I've seen a lot of those too.
Yeah.
I've seen Blackberry.
They're not all
Tetris.
bad. Yeah,
You
Blackberry's
watched
great.
the Cheeto movie.
I did. I was hoping Eva Longoria had a great story to tell with that, but apparently it's all based on lies, and that guy didn't actually create Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Right. Tetris, I thought was like, I was rooting for that one because I like that actor.
Yeah. He was kind of playing like the
no, not Taron Egerton.
Yeah, that was him.
It is. I
Yep.
was thinking of Joel. There's a Joel Egerton, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they're related,
okay.
but they're both good.
Yeah, they're both good. Taron's great.
Yeah.
I want more for that guy. He's kind of in like the Alden Ehrenreich bucket where I'm like, am I the only person that sees how talented this guy is?
But he doesn't have any flops like Ehrenreich. I don't get why.
He just hasn't had a lot. I mean, he did like the Kingsman stuff. That first one did okay.
Yeah.
Second one I don't think did great. Then Rocket Man, like I feel like people weren't like really talking about Rocket Man a whole lot. I just feel like he hasn't grabbed everyone's attention in the way that I want him to, because I think he's so good.
Yeah,
I loved his performance in that movie, but I don't know. It was just a weird movie. It's just like a weird spy thriller.
Yeah, that was strange. There's a Beanie Babies movie coming out on Apple Plus, I think, pretty soon with who's it? Elizabeth Banks and Zach Galifianakis, who looks weird as hell without a beard.
I think that released the same weekend as Barbie.
Oh yeah,
I think so, because I remember looking at releases and being like, "Oh man, what the hell were they thinking?"
Right. The only other thing I was going to bring up was because we keep just neglecting music.
Let's talk about some music.
I mean, the only thing I had was second half of the year releases. Like, what are you most looking forward to?
So what's on the agenda? What do you like?
I mean, we got a lot of stuff. It's pretty loaded after kind of a music desert. We got Rat Boys, Genesis Owusu's coming back with his sophomore record.
Yeah.
Olivia Rodrigo's got her sophomore album.
Oh, cool.
And Jeff Rosenstock's got a new record, Field Medic, Code Orange, Citizen, Arm & Hammer, some more Billy Woods. Of
Citizen
course.
will be cool.
I hope.
What do you mean you hope?
Did you listen to their last record?
No.
They tried to do the Foxing pivot into like really indie Imagine Dragons type stuff, and it wasn't good. So yeah. And yeah, allegedly we got a new Blink-182 record, but maybe Tom's going to be busy with this whole aliens being real thing.
I feel like he's always been
years.
busy with that.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like that should be a bigger story. Nobody really cares though, right?
He was on Joe Rogan
Exactly. Nobody cares.
a long time ago. Then as soon as he went out there, he's like, that guy's fucking nuts.
Wait, Joe Rogan or Tom DeLonge?
Joe said that about Tom.
Yeah.
Tom probably said
Pretty
that
low.
about Joe as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that goes both ways. But yeah, wasn't there like military pilots just fully saying like, yeah, we had alien cadavers. We don't.
Yup. It's pretty fucked, dude. It's like an ex-CIA type guy, I think.
It would be kind of funny if they finally put this Blink-182 reunion together and it all gets derailed because Tom's like, I don't got time for this shit, man. I got to go deal with the
Right.
aliens. I've been telling you guys.
But like, what's he gonna do? You know what I mean?
He's a consultant. He knows everything. He's an expert.
I guess. I don't know.
He's not going to do shit. Design some famous stars and straps, alien merch.
Do you listen to anything new that you like?
I did like the new Strange Ranger record. I think I sent you that link. That was kind of like, I don't know, like jangle pop,
Yeah.
synthy, but not like, it was very like grimy 90s
Yeah.
synthy stuff. I really like that.
I like the 90s drum breaks in it. I hadn't heard the term, is it jangle pop or jangle rock?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I hadn't heard that before. I'm not very good with subgenres and stuff, but
There's too many.
yeah, there are a lot.
It's kind of, jangle pop is just like shoegaze with more interesting drums.
Oh,
Like, that's
I
all
like
it is.
that. Yeah. Well, I'll definitely click on that instead of shoegaze in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was late to Kixie. That record was really good. It's almost like a super, super poppy, but like indie ballad band. I don't know how to describe it. Almost like Olivia Rodrigo joined like Beach Bunny or something. It's really wild. I like it a lot. But yeah, she does like weird like triplets with the vocals and stuff.
Oh,
and they've
cool.
got like emo breakdowns. Like covers a lot of ground.
Yeah,
I like it.
sounds like it. Yeah. I got to dig into that a bit more. I did listen to a bit of the new AJJ.
Oh yeah.
I liked that one. I haven't listened to a lot of that band, but I like their, flavor, and it seems like they've been pretty consistent with that. I like the production on this record. Never been a fan of like how short their songs are. Just because I'm not a fan of short songs. Like, you're already doing the thing, and I don't know, just do it a bit more or whatever. But then like, it's fair. Like, I totally get not wanting to just like play the same thing 3 times in a row and call it a song. So enjoyed that one. Also enjoyed the new Queens of the Stone Age more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're just one of those bands that just, I appreciate how they play things. Like, I think a lot of the songs on this record, I wouldn't like them if any other band played them. And it made me realize that Queens of the Stone Age, I think they've done this for a while, maybe more so on this record, but they have a way of like playing cheesy songs in a cool way. Like, they feel like dudes that just can't help but be cool. And so even when they play these like kind of cheesy things, they make it cool in some way that I like. I wish that they would still get a little more metal. You know, I miss some of that, but like, what are you gonna do? You know, that was a while ago.
This felt a little too gimmicky to me. Like you said, it felt like really talented people polishing up White Zombie songs. That's my review. But I do feel like I appreciate, like, just listening to the record, just how precise and sharp all the performances are. Like, his guitar work is so stellar. Even when it is simple, it's just so clean and precise.
They're unbelievable.
Like, yeah.
And there's a lot of cool production tricks with layering and just the space that things sound like they're in is really kind of different. I wish they would have like experimented a bit more. At a certain point, I was like, oh, that's just kind of the sound of the whole record. But, you know, still very cool overall. I liked it.
You listening to anything new, Ben?
No.
What have you been listening to?
Listening to anything old?
Nothing.
Nothing? Are you texting work right now?
No, I'm not texting work.
Texting.
No.
All right, last thing before we get out, because we got 2 minutes. So Ben, this is all on you.
All right.
You're the Nolan fanatic. You're the Rotten Tomatoes guy. So give us your Nolan rankings.
Yeah.
All right. Shit.
2 minutes.
Inception, Dark Knight, Interstellar, Rises, Begins.
Wow.
Fucking Oppenheimer, Dunkirk, Tenet, Memento.
Wait.
No, fuck.
The
the Prestige is
Prestige.
in there somewhere.
Yeah.
The Prestige is above Tenet.
Oh, wow.
Swap those out.
Yeah. Max, what's yours?
Shit. I don't know if I can rank them all, but I will say I think The Prestige is still my favorite.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love that movie a weird amount.
I can't believe it's your fucking favorite.
It's so cool.
Oh my god.
It's good.
It is a cool
I like
movie.
it.
It's just not like as big of a spectacle as I think that like Inception is, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But I can understand it better.
Yeah. I think mine's pretty similar. Mine's probably like a mix of the two of yours, because I got the same like top 3 as Ben. So
Yeah.
Inception, Dark Knight, Interstellar. Then I'd go Prestige. Then I'd go Batman Begins. Then Oppenheimer.
Where's Dunkirk?
Dunkirk is right above Tenet, right at the bottom for me.
Ooh.
Those are my 2 least.
And you can't even hate Dunkirk for trying too hard, or Tenet
doesn't.
tried too hard.
I know, I hate them for opposite reasons. Tenet
Okay.
tried too hard, and Dunkirk didn't try hard enough for me.
I gotcha. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
The Zoom's going to end.
Well, yep.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'm driving to Coldwater, Michigan in the morning.
Send me the
Wish me luck.
audio.
Be safe. Yeah, send him
and
the
be-
audio
and be
before you go to
safe.
bed.
I meant to say be safe first, and then the audio thing.
For more, visit internetkilledthevideostore.com.